Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another webinar series. This is our 19th webinar series, and today I shall be the one presenting the topic. And it will be fascinating to know that today we'll be talking about how you can make foreign exchange in terms of dollars, pounds, and other foreign currency while working in your school in Nigeria or working at the comfort of your home. And I believe this is necessary because this jackpot season, people are willing to go out because of the funds, but we can also get the funds while we are still in Nigeria, and that is just what I want to communicate today. So I welcome you, and I believe that as I share this information, it will be useful for you. However, let me say that I am only giving the perspective of my own experiences. We may have different experiences on how this works, but I'm fortunate to have engaged in more than one remote work that is earning extra income, both in Nigeria and overseas, and I believe that it will be also useful for you. So in order not to waste time, let me go to the nitty-gritty of today's discussion. Okay, to put it in perspective, my name is Dr. Azeez Tunbosun Lawal, and I'm an associate of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, which gives me the passion to engage in learning and development. We have started this program since June, and almost every penultimate week, we bring scholars to come and discuss one or two topics that will be very interesting to academia. We have brought people that have discussed different topics, which you can also view on our YouTube. Just go to @Business Research Consults, and all the videos can be accessible to you. We also wish that people will also volunteer to pick topics that could interest the academia and improve their skill sets or show them opportunities that they may not be aware of. Today, presently, I work with Al-Hikmah University as a lecturer at the Department of Business Administration, but I also double as the acting dean student affairs in that university. So I'm a full faculty in a Nigerian university, and I also engage in remote academic work in 4 universities that are different from Al-Hikmah University. I'm sure you must be thinking, how do I do that with the headache of student affairs? I have been with UNICAF University, Cyprus, since the COVID era. In fact, the COVID was the main motivation for looking for universities that allow remote work. And I was fortunate to get UNICAF University advert during that era. I've also worked, and I'm also working with University of South Wales, UK, where I teach and supervise postgraduate and undergraduate students. I also have an appointment with Nobel International Business School in Ghana, where I also have been engaged for postgraduate studies. The National Open University, which is just close to us, you would not know that they also engage faculty for part-time activities. All these are my experiences, which I wish to share how I got them and tell you what is available for you to, if you follow some of the insights I'll be sharing. You may be lucky to get more than this, but I can assure you that what comes out of this engagement is not a joke. I've been fortunate to receive in dollars and in pounds, which naturally augments the mega salary academics complain of. So let's go to the main work. I said earlier that during the COVID, most of us thought it was the end for academia. Some beyond academia, some firms even closed down. Some paid partially because they were not engaging their staff, but we were fortunate in some universities like mine, Al-Hikmah University. We started online classes and online exams. And I felt if we could do it in Nigeria, there should be universities abroad that do it. Let me not also forget to say that a friend of mine, a very good friend for that matter, Dr. Yusuf, was one of those who first showed me the insight to getting remote work online. And I really appreciate his kind gesture, which has blossomed over the years. So when a door closes, I like this quote and it represents why I started my journey on remote work. And it is from Ellen Keller. And it reads, when one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one that has been opened for us. I'm sure some of us that are still in pain over the 8 months salary not paid by federal government to ASU, or some of us that still believe that the era of just managing what academics get is what we should still maintain. Should read this over and over and get motivation from it. So this is the statistics I would love to share with you. It is the statistics of remote work. Globally, many organizations have seen benefits in engaging people without having them within their premises. And if you look at these global statistics, it says that in 2022, employees' option for telework increased by 78%. That shows that flexible work assumed a new importance to 83% of the workforce. Another statistics says that 42% of major cities pay more for remote roles. In fact, it said that in San Francisco, remote work will earn you as close as $32,000. I think that's fascinating to hear. Then another statistic says that 5% of US workers would like to continue working fully remotely. I'm sure you must have heard of the story or the issues happening in Tesla or in Twitter from the decisions of the Tesla boss, Elon Musk, which he just made public on remote work. So these are some of the, okay, and in LinkedIn too, remote job opens has increased the opportunity by 350% in May 2021. So these statistics show that there is a huge opportunity we can get in remote work. Let me also whet your appetite by saying that even though remote work brings some opportunities, it is still an area that has a lot to do with challenges. If you look at this picture, you will see that it is not all that glitters that is gold. In remote work, you may not have a definite office. You may have to deal with the background, just like I'm doing now. You may have to endure with some things, and this picture shares that. So let's go to the learning outlay for today. Today, I shall be taking you through 3 major steps in your journey towards starting and achieving remote work. I believe by the end of this discussion, you also have the motivation to seek for remote work and get the opportunity and get the achievement or opportunities that comes with it. So the first section or segment of my discussion will lay emphasis on the overview of remote work. What is the meaning of remote work? What are the types? What benefits come with remote work? What are the challenges you could face in remote work? And what are the foreign earnings presently in remote work? The second segment will talk about how to prepare for remote work, where we'll be talking about the essential remote working skills that you require, the tools for remote work, and the backup plans when you have challenges while you are doing this remote work. And lastly, I'll be talking about how you get the remote work. What are the criteria needed to get this work? What are the opportunities available for this work? And we'll be discussing, we'll use the last segment of this discussion to have our question and answers, where I shall be clarifying areas where you have concerns on. Okay. Remote work in a layman's or in a simple way is just a working style where professionals are allowed to work outside of their traditional office space. That means you don't have to resume in your office before you discharge your responsibilities. That is why I said you can be in Nigeria, or that is why I've been in Nigeria and I'm discharging my responsibility in Cyprus, in UK, or in Ghana. I may do it in my house, I may do it in my primary place of assignment, I may do it in the car, so long as the environment is suitable to discharge that responsibility. So remote work is not just in the academia. I'm sure you must have heard, because we are Nigerians, you must have heard of Yahoo Yahoo. Some of these boys don't do fraud. They do remote work online and they make their money. I'm not exonerating some that do dubious activities online, but some of these boys might also be engaging in one remote work or the other. Remote work may be, other words may be used to replace remote work in the real sense. I'm sure you must have heard of work from home, telework, mobile work, distance work, remote job, online work, or virtual work. All these things still mean the same thing. Still means that you are working at your own comfort and discharging responsibilities for an organization. So what are the types? Some remote work are fully remote work. That means you are expected to do everything online. You don't have to go to the organization at all. From beginning of the project to the end, you do it remotely. For instance, if I have a class to teach, maybe I have a course, like I need to teach organizational behavior, I need to teach system thinking, which I do in University of South Wales. I do it 100% online. I teach them, I grade them, and I send their results online without having to go to University of South Wales. That is fully remote work. Even the payment is also online, because I don't need to go to their finance department to drop my invoice, to get my funds paid. There's also the other type, which is the flexible schedules. And in these flexible schedules, we have what we call the blended remote work and the hybrid remote work. The blended one is when they allow you to do some online and you do others on site. That means, for instance, they may say a program of 6 months, you do the first 3 months online, then you come to the university to finish up the other 3 months and get certified. That is the blended remote work. I've also experienced this when I had the opportunity, or when I had such opportunity with Lagos Business School. They allow you to take some courses online where they'll give you a VLE to read, answer questions, do assignments, do group work. Then you come back to the campus to finish up such courses. The hybrid, however, is when you are the facilitator. You are doing it online in the class, but some of your students are off the class. They are not on site, they are online. So, for instance, I'm taking a class on site, but I'm also virtual. So some of my students may not be in the class, they are in their homes or in other countries, and they still benefit from such class where I'm delivering such lectures. So that is the hybrid remote work. Okay. Then what are the benefits? The benefits are dual in nature. Remote work has some benefits for you, the employer, who is the lecturer now, or the supervisor. Then there are other benefits for the employee. For instance, any university that has employees like lecturers, supervisors that undertake remote work, they have some things that they benefit. Number one, they save money. I'm sure you know that to hire a faculty from another country means that you pay for the flight ticket, you pay for their accommodation, you pay for their feeding, etc. But in remote work, they only pay for the services you render online. Then there's the opportunity of diversity. They have so much race. They have different types of people to teach their students. For instance, because of our accents, African students may find it easier to be taught by Africans and vice versa. Then there's also the issue of sustainability. Then there's the opportunity of borderless talent hunt. They can hire from any part of the world and they get results from there. What about you as the employee? You get extra income because you are doing your 9 to 5 job and you still have the opportunity to undertake this task. Then let me also say that in remote work as an academic, it's either you are supervising, you are teaching, or you are serving as an external examiner. It could be in any of these areas. Then another opportunity you can get in remote work is that you have a work-life balance. You can have time to do other things apart from being in class. You can have flexible work schedules. Then you don't have to, your commute time is reduced. You don't have to move in your house. You are delivering the class at your comfort. Then there's this independence you have. You control your class and your activities. Then what then are the challenges? There's the natural environmental interruptions. The environment in which you discharge this responsibility may not be conducive. There could be noise, there could be obstruction, among others. And there's the absence of personal interaction. The students you are working with may not have the opportunity to see you or ask you one-on-one questions that are common in face-to-face teaching or supervision. Then, because you are working in different countries, you could have issues in your time zones. For instance, you may not know that a country is 7 hours ahead of you. And when you are saying good morning, the person is already saying good night in his country. So you may have issues when you set times for your classes or for your schedules. Then another challenge is building and maintaining strong company culture. The culture such university have may be altered when they hire people from different countries, from different backgrounds, with different orientation. Okay, these are a few. Let's look at what others view as benefits and challenges. In my research, I discovered that the biggest benefit people see in remote teaching or remote work generally is the topmost benefit they see is the ability to have flexible schedules. By nature, people like flexibility. They don't want things that are rigid. They don't want to do things over and over the same way. So they believe is that 32% of people, or the fact is that 22% of people prefer remote work because it allows them flexible schedule. Then the second highest is that it's also about flexibility, that they can work from anywhere. Then thirdly is that the commute time is reduced or eliminated, because in some countries, moving from one place to the other may be very hectic. Then there's also the issue of ability to spend time with family, ability to work from home, among others. This fact is sourced from the state of remote work report 2020. Then what are the biggest challenge or the struggle for people that have answered this questionnaire? The biggest is that collaboration and communication and loneliness is their biggest challenge. Because I told you initially that you will be independent, you have to take charge of your classes, you have to work alone. So when you are working alone, collaboration and communication becomes an issue. Then not being able to unplug, distractions at home, being in different time zones, staying motivated may be an issue because you don't have staffs to motivate you, taking vacation time, reliable Wi-Fi, among others. So this is a pictorial, this is a summary of what happens online. I tried to look at 10 highest paying non-academic professionals online. What do they earn? Who are they? The highest paid globally are data scientists, and their average income per annum as at October 2022 was put at $96,600 per scientist. This result is from careersidekick.com. You can also view it. And if you look at it, the second highest paid is the IT project manager, while the least among the 10 is the web designer. If you look at the first to the 10th, you'll notice that I omitted the academia. So where do the academia belong? For professors, they will be among the fourth. Professors online earn an average of $83,506 per annum, which means that they earn approximately $40.15 per hour. If you do that conversion with Nigerian Naira, I'm sure you know what that means. Per week, they earn $1,605, and per month, they earn $6,958 per month. So even if you are not a professor, where do you belong? I'm sure you belong among the 7th or 8th position. So you can earn as much as $68,184 per annum as a lecturer, below professors. If you're not a professor, you can earn up to that. But that is not to say that you will earn that when you join, because the earnings is based on your course size, your course design, your degree differential and seniority, your pay per enrollee, and the size of the school in which you have connected to. This report is also from ziprecruiter.com. So these are facts that I'm sharing, and I hope that we will look inward and start searching for global jobs so that we'll not just stay in the comfort of our homes and believe that all is well. So what do you need? What are the skills you need to engage in remote work? First and foremost, you must be independent. You must have that independent skill. And what do you mean by that? You must be able to work without supervision and assistance. And let me put more light to that. For some of us, I'm sorry to say, we have not mastered the use of even the computer. I'm not saying the basics of how to on the computer, but how to use essential softwares that relate to our work. So if that becomes impossible for us, then we will not be able to engage in remote work. Because in remote work, you need some of this software, which I shall be sharing soon. You need to know how to operate them yourself. So you don't need any assistant or supervisor. Because when you are in your home, you don't need the IT department to assist you with anything. They won't even come. You won't even see them. So it means that you must be independent. You must know how to prepare your slides. You must know how to use some of these teaching platforms like Google Classroom, Zoom, which we are using now, Teams, Meet, and what have you. So you must be independent. You must be skillful enough to use some of these materials. then I'm sure you know that you prepare your materials yourself. The school may just enable you to use its online e-library to get materials. Then you must have this collaboratory skill. That means your ability to work with others without having to see them. You'll be doing those meetings virtually. So you need to have that skill as well. Then self-motivation, the ability to drive self at work to achieve set goals. Since you are alone, you must be able to motivate yourselves to achieve what you have signed for. Then you must also be organized. That means you must properly manage your project, your time perfectly. Because most of these schools are very, very organized. They will tell you when to start, when to give them welcome messages, when to do your summative and formative work or assessment, when to report their results, what to score, or the range in which to score, how to score. So you must be really organized, otherwise you may not meet up with the expectation. Then communication is also key because now you are not just speaking, you are also writing, you are texting. Some of them will even use their chat box mostly for the work. So it is expected that you are very good in both speaking and writing. You must speak eloquently and you must write profusely. Then the technical skill is also there. You must be up to date with equipment that are used online for teaching and research. Some of it is for research is the plagiarism software, paraphrasing software, among others. Then there's also the teaching softwares, like there's also the teaching softwares, like the Google Classroom, Zoom, and the like that I've informed you earlier about. Then lastly, among the seven I chose to, or which I know as the essential, is adaptability. You can see that even my phone is distracting me now. You can just imagine if I'm in a class where people have joined from different countries and all these distractions keep them off because most of them may be workers. Maybe they just spend their time to join your class. And you know, in Nigeria, we use our data, our phone data to power our equipment. So you cannot just off your phone while we are doing such lectures. So these distractions might be something you need to work on and manage so that you can build trust and resilience within your team. Okay, what are the notable tools you now need to engage in remote work? First and foremost, you need the platform that will do the main work. And part of the platform is the PC, which should be modern. I purposely wrote modern PC because some PC cannot even power, what PC means personal computer. It may not power some of these softwares that we'll be talking about. Some software will say that you must have XYZ gigabyte storage, you must have so speed, you must have so memory. So it means that your PC must be up to date, otherwise it may be useless in this endeavor. You could also use your tablet or your phone so long as it has internet access. And what will this tool be used for? It will be used for general operations. Then you also need your Google Drive or what we call Dropbox, the software, or Extensive. This can be used for storage because in teaching and research online, we need to save so many documents. You can just imagine that you have a class of 50 students and they all send their assignments to you. You have to download it somewhere, read it, make comments, and upload again. So you need storage. Okay, and you need to keep them for references. So you may not need to delete them almost immediately. Then you also need for moving files, because there's a difference between just downloading and uploading, but you may need to move files too. So, or sending large files. WeTransfer could be an option for you. Then for scheduling, because you need to schedule your classes, sometimes may not even be class, may be discussions. For instance, if you are supervising a PhD student or a master student, and you discover that your comments are not well understood, you may want to have a discussion, a private discussion with such students. And you may need to schedule such meetings. So scheduling tools that you could use online are Soapbox or 10 to 8. Okay. Then in order to balance your time zone, because now that I'm in Nigeria, maybe somebody in Malaysia is already sleeping, and I don't know if I can talk to him or her at that time, I can use the time zone software that will make me understand what time it is in all the countries that I have my students. So it helps me to track and coordinate activities across those different time zones. Then you may also need to take notes of enter data, and you could use any of the Microsoft packages, which I call the MS Suite, Word, Excel, and what have you. Or you could use Evernote, Simple Notes, Google Keep, or any of such software that can do these functions. Then for time management tools, eFocus, Todoist will be used. And for video calls and conferencing, most of us are used to Zoom, but there's also Slack, Skype, Microsoft Teams, WebEx meetings, Google Classroom, and Google Meet. All these can be used for video calls and conferencing. Then for some universities, they don't use Zoom, Skype. They have their own virtual learning environment. They have their own classroom built on their website where everything is there. You don't have to go to any of these places. They have their video, they have everything. So we call it the school's virtual learning environment. This is, I've engaged in many VLEs that are not the same. It's especially designed for the school in the way they best think it is, the way they think it is best for them. So some may even have libraries, some may have so many features depending on what they want to achieve. Then you may also need softwares for data analysis, referencing styles, especially when you are supervising. Sometimes you may need to recommend them to your students, but when you don't know them, how do you now teach your students? Okay, so there are some backup plans that are required when you are doing remote work. And first foremost is, especially in this part of the world, Africa, where we have issues of infrastructure, power is number one. You may just be working, maybe you even have a laptop that cannot stay out of power. Maybe the battery is even very weak. So you need to have alternate power supply, maybe solar or generator or whatever, or even dual laptops. Sometimes your laptop may just malfunction and it will be a big disaster. So that is very, very important. Secondly, you need a credible internet service provider. Although, unfortunately, in Nigeria, we have 4, and not one of them can be relied upon. So you may need to have multiple internet service providers so that when one fails, the other would save you. Then you may need to have alternate personal computer so that if you have challenges, it may just hang and you may have to connect with your phone or another laptop or computer. Then ideally for some schools, they will recommend that you have a wireless noise cancellation headset, which also has a microphone, so that distractions or noise around the environment in which you have chosen to work would not influence your teaching. Then lastly, you need an external hard drive because at a point, your storage within your computer may not be enough, and you may not want or you may not be using the cloud to save, but the cloud will also be another storage, but external hard drive is better if you want to use another personal computer without joining it with internet. So what are the common criteria for academic remote work? What do these universities look out for before they give you such opportunities? I've looked at most of the engagements in which I had and some of my friends, and I saw this to be the interception or the main things that we all have or they all request for. Number one, you must have a postgraduate degree. That means you must be an MSc holder or a PhD holder in the field in which you want to teach. Some of them will require experience as an academic. Are you a full-time faculty in your university? Or have you been taking part-time or adjunct somewhere that they have the confidence that you will also replicate such in their university? Then I've also seen some that will go to your links online. They want to know your online presence. Who are you? Who do people see you, or what do people think you are in the world? So they could visit your LinkedIn page, Academia, ResearchGate, or Google Scholar, or even your Facebook in some cases to know the type of character you represent. So I would advise that if you seek for remote work, you should have at least LinkedIn, Academia, ResearchGate, and Google Scholar. These are what will show the type of person you are. If you check any of these four for me, I'm sure you know what I teach, what I research on, and what I represent. So evidence of possessing the major skill sets for remote work will also be required, and this will be done through the interview. For most of the universities I've told you that I work, I had online interview and I faced the panel of the university where they will ask you different things which I've told you about today. They want to know what you know about remote work and how you can handle it. Then when you are successful with the interview, like for UNICAF, they will put you through a test, an online test. But the test will not be testing you anything other than what you teach. So you must have a full grasp of how you teach and how to use their software. That is what UNICAF tests you on. For some universities, most universities, they also ask for your police clearance certificate. They want to be sure that you are clean in your country because it is assumed that you are part of their staff and you are part of their payroll. So they want to be sure that they are having you clean in their books as well. Then you must also possess an international identification. And most times it is your international passport. For some of us that we don't have it because we think we are not traveling, it's also useful for this purpose. Then lastly, before any of them will engage you, they will expect that you fill and submit some service agreements where their MOU will be signed by you. So these are basically the common criteria I've experienced in my sojourn in research work. Okay, these are some insights or information about academic remote work. These are some universities that are always seeking for lecturers, either as supervisors, external examiners, peer review for their journals, among others. So you could Google them and try your luck. Okay, these are some websites that are currently seeking for remote workers. I will share it with those that are online now, or when it is posted to the YouTube, you can copy and check them out if they are useful for you. But mostly, most open universities seek for remote workers. And these ones are the ones that I've seen in the last 2 months requesting for people to join them. So you could try your luck in either of these universities. Thank you for listening. I hope that I've been able to share some of the insights required for this task. And I pray that when you make the effort to get this job, it will be open for you to access. So if you need more information from me, you could call me on my mobile, send a mail, or chat me up on my WhatsApp, or preferably visit our YouTube to listen to this discussion over and over again. I would appreciate if you can use the remaining 5 minutes for questions and answers. Thank you for your time. Hello, any question? Comments? Okay, if there are none, let me thank you for joining, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. I hope that the last webinar for this year will come up next week, where 1 hours will take the last one for the year. And I hope that volunteers would take the opportunity to also lecture our colleagues on how to get similar opportunities in the future. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much for listening.